Good morning. I'm out in the garden. It's rainy, drizzly, cold, pretty dank out here. But I'm out here to talk about my gardening method, which is called chop and drop. And chop and drop is a method of mimicking nature. It shouldn't even be called a method. It's just nature's way. Obviously, in nature, plants die, like this poor, benighted, frosted green bean, and it falls to the ground and it rots down. But I just speed it up a little by chopping it and leaving things right where they are. And of course, you never pull out nitrogen fixing plants like beans. You just let them in there, right? You let them stay. But things like this arugula that I'm still kind of eating, but as it dies back and whatnot, it will just stay right where it is. I don't have to put it in a composter, right? The main tools I use for chop and drop are this menacing looking machete and my trusty bypass pruners, right? And I leave these things on the ground because it's going to help the wildlife to survive, the insects that I want here in the garden, right? So all the perennial plants like this native chili pecan will, survive over winter. It's heavily mulched, and mulching for me is chopping up the green stuff like these annual celosia flowers that I showed you earlier. It's chopping up stuff like that and just leaving it in place. The machete comes into play for things like this artichoke, which is a perennial vegetable that will come back next year. But as the leaves die back, I will cut them into slightly smaller pieces and just leave them on the ground as a green mulch. The chop and drop method builds soil fertility, and that's what this is all about. It's building soil fertility. Things don't always look perfect, as nature intends. Things die back to the ground. I'm leaving these sunchoke stalks in place for any overwintering bees and whatnot to snuggle in. And I leave the leaves where they drop on things like this fig tree because that's its natural mulch. The garden still looks beautiful, but chop and drop allows me to build soil fertility without paying for expensive mulches and fertilizers, and without having to do too much tending of my compost pile. Have a great day.